Hey guys, what's going on? It's Chris here, and today we're going to be doing a tier list video of all the mainline Pokemon games. Now, I know we've been doing a lot of tier lists recently, but this is probably going to be the last one for a while, so I figured we'd finish out with a bang. You know, I really do like Pokemon, and I'm thinking of uploading a Pokemon playthrough on my channel. But for now, we'll just be ranking some of the mainline games. And of course, we have the tiers over here. We have did not play. There are, believe it or not, some of these games on this list that I have not played yet. Emphasis on yet, because I will eventually get around to playing them. We've got Metapod tier, because they're dick. All they do is harden. We have Magikarp tier, because they are just bad. There's really no other way of looking at it. Magikarp is just bad. We have Quilladin, because it's middle of the road. You know, it's in between some great games and some not too great games, whatever you may take it. That could be that Chespin is a bad evolution, that could be that Chestnut is an evolution that isn't too great, or it could be vice versa. But Quilladin, I don't really have any strong feelings about. Then we have Mudkip, best starter. Do not at me, don't talk to me, don't look at me. Mudkip is best starter, because he's great. Then we have Mewtwo tier. I'll admit, I'm a basic bitch. He's my favorite legendary. So we have, legendary tier. Then we have Youngster Joey, of course. He is the best trainer that has ever existed. He defeated Lance with nothing but Rattata. He is a god among men. And this will be the best tier. This will be reserved for the greatest among the mainline games. And then, of course, we have Bidoof tier, because he is a god. So this will be the godly tier, and this will be reserved for some of, if not my favorite ones. Like the games that I would play more than any of the other games on this list. So, without further ado, let's just hop into starting the ranking. And we'll start off strong with the first gen titles. I have not played some of the first gen titles. So, unfortunately, they will be going there. I have played the second gen titles. We'll get to those, but I have not had the honor of playing the originals. I've played, of course, the third gen remakes of the originals, and we'll get to that. But from what I can tell, if I were to rank them, they would probably be around Quilladin. I don't have first-hand experience, and I definitely don't have the nostalgia of having that be my first experience in Pokemon. But the games seem pretty good. The art is wacky. Not really in a bad way. It's actually interesting to see the weird, have you guys seen first gen Golbat? I'll try to remember to put it up on screen if you guys haven't seen it. He looks wild. Some of the character designs for Pokemon back in the day were just insane. So, yeah, I have not played them, so I can't properly rank them, but I'd probably put them in Quilladin, if I'm being entirely honest. Now, as for second gen, I have not played Gold, but I have played Silver. And yeah, it's pretty much the same kind of deal. The designs are pretty much the same. It's the same kind of monochrome color scheme. But it was fun. It was original Pokemon. It has a very nostalgic feeling to it. I don't really know how to put it into words. But even though I had never played second gen before, I'd never played an old school Pokemon game. When I played it, it just feels so, I don't know, it's just beyond words, really, but it was a fun experience. Of course, now that we have color in Pokemon games and better animations, okay, yeah, second gen doesn't really stack up anymore, but I'll never forget playing Silver on my, what was it? It was a Game Boy Advanced SP. I don't think I have it anymore, but I used to have a Game Boy Advanced SP, and I'd play this and one of the other games on the list very frequently, and I thought it was really fun. I had a lot of fun in my childhood playing that game. Next up is Crystal. Did not play. I'm sorry, I'm a fake fan. I have not played Crystal, which is obviously the best Pokemon game ever, because I've I've definitely heard that. People mention Crystal all the time, outside of 2 or 3 times in my entire life where somebody played a fun ROM hack remake, and other than the fact that I have a poster of all the mainline games on my wall, so I see that Crystal came out in 2001. Fun fact, I was born in 2001. So yeah, it came out the same year as me, and just like me, it's irrelevant. So, moving on to third gen. Alright, I'm about to play all the cards in my hand. Third gen goes in God tier. It's all three of them. All three of them go into God tier. Now actually I might move down Ruby to youngster Joey tier because I have a funny story. I will. Okay, so Sapphire was the first ever Pokemon game I ever played. And boy, was I lucky that my first introduction to the Pokemon franchise was such a good game. It was so fun. It had so many different things that make Pokemon as great as it is today. Right? They added color, they added new animations, they added a ton of new Pokemon that were very interesting and cool and unique and original. Some of the greatest aspects of Pokemon, I'll never forget. Now, this was for Emerald, but I'll never forget going to the Battle Frontier and trying to find the secret Sudowoodo. That was always fun. And like all the Reggie puzzles, man. Oh man, so much nostalgia for me. This is really where the nostalgia hits different. All right, this is like top tier nostalgia, and yeah, it is entirely possible that they only end up in God tier because of the nostalgia. But this is my list, so that's where they're gonna go. Yeah, I mean, they were fun games, and I think one of my favorite aspects about them is I really like legendaries. Legendaries are some of my favorite Pokemon in the entire series. I am through and through a legendary hunter. I always go after legendaries whenever they come out. I always want to be the first one to get the legendaries. They're powerful, they're cool, they're unique. 9 times out of 10, there's only one in the game. So, I've always been a big fan of legendaries, and this game did not disappoint. You had the Reggies, you had the Weather Trio, you had, what were the other? Jirachi, Deoxys. You had so many cool legendaries and cool ways to get them. This was back in the age of, where they made you work for legendaries instead of, okay, just put in this code and you get your event legendary, whatever. This was fun. These games were really fun. Sapphire was great. I played it a million times throughout my childhood. I always got my ass kicked by Brawly, who was the Doofer gym leader. But no matter what, no matter which starter I picked, no matter, what kind of playstyle I always went with, I'd always have fun. It was one of my favorite games just on the Game Boy, and probably one of my favorite Nintendo games ever. And then I played Emerald next, and that was like Sapphire, but more stuff to do. I had Rayquaza in the mix. The gyms were a little bit different. You had the swap from Wallace to HOENN for the last gym leader, and then the gym leader in Emerald, or excuse me, the Elite Four champion in Emerald switched from Steven Devon to Wallace, and that was crazy to me. I was like, okay, they're swapping people around. I now have access to Sapphire exclusive Pokemon and Ruby exclusive Pokemon. There's another legendary to catch. There's Rayquaza. It was crazy. I was like, this is through and through definitely an upgrade of already one of my favorite games. Then we have the Black Sheep of 3rd gen. Still a great game because it's 3rd gen. It had all of the same elements that I loved, and it had Pokemon that you couldn't get in Sapphire and Emerald. God, let me think. I know that Seviper and Zangoose were version exclusives. I can't remember which went in which game, but I remember that when I got Ruby, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I can finally catch the other one. But unfortunately, when I was playing on my Game Boy SP Advance, I got to the desert section where you go, you got to put on your goggles. And that's also where you go for the fossils, and that's where you go for Regirock, if I remember correctly. It's just a lot of stuff you have to go through that desert for. And I get there, and I don't think I had done the quest to get the goggles yet. Because I think I kept going into the desert, and it'd be like, oh, you can't see, you're being blinded by the sand, you have to leave. You get the go-go goggles from May after you defeat the Lava Ridge gym leader, Flannery. So, of course, I hadn't beaten the gym yet. So I was like, okay, well, let me turn around. And then my game would crash. And I was like, what? It's like, okay, well, it's no big deal. I saved when I went into the desert. Okay, so it's only been a couple seconds. And then I go to leave, and then my game crashes. I said, what? Okay, well, let me try it again. I did the classic tactic. You wipe out the cartridge. It had the little, like, the hole in the bottom for it to connect to the system. So you kind of wipe that out with, like, a cloth. You gently blow to try to get the dust out. You kind of, like, tap it against your knee lightly, or as, like, a 10-year-old or something like that. I was about 10. As a 10-year-old me would do, like, slam it profusely against my knee out of frustration. And then I'd plug it back in, and I'd loot up my save, and I'd be like, alright, let's go. Hit him with the baby. Let's go. And I try to walk out of the desert, and my game would crash. So my save file was corrupted. I was never able to leave that desert. I have never completed Ruby, but it was 3rd gen. It was really fun. And up until that point, I was having a blast. So I'll put it in Youngster Joey tier. Still able to defeat Lance and all the champions. Lance, Cynthia, that chick from 6th gen, can't remember her name. Alder, all of them. You can beat them all with just a Rattata. So, still gets Youngster Joey tier. Not bad, but that corrupted save file will always traumatize me. So, let's move on. Next we have Fire Red. I actually hadn't played this until just recently. Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I'll put it here. Okay. I had not played Fire Red until recently, until the last year and a half or something. I played it on my computer. I got a GBA ROM, and I played Fire Red, and I had a blast. It was like the original games, but it had all the amenities of 3rd gen. So I had a great time playing it. You kind of had that nostalgic feeling, but with the new awesome additive additions of things like color, things like battle animations. I think they added some 3rd gen Pokemon to the game. I don't quite recall, but it was really fun being able to experience what the kids that originally played the game, like back when it first came out in like the 90s, it was fun to be able to experience that, but in a way that I had grown up experiencing Pokemon, like I said, with color, with animations, with new and different Pokemon. It was a blast. I had a great time. I wouldn't quite put it in Bidoof, but in terms of a game that I would not refer to as godly, this is definitely a top tier game. If I was ordering them, like per tier, if I was saying, okay, this one is number 1, so it's my favorite, this one is number 2, so it's my second favorite, I would definitely put this one first, and I would be hard-pressed to put any other game past it. Now, as for Leaf Green, apologies, I have not played it, but I have no doubt it would probably end up in Youngster Joey tier if I had played it. But, it is what it is. Now, I must admit, I will probably be attacked for this. And I welcome your attacks. I need to suffer punishment for this, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fullest tier on this list. Don't worry, I think that's it. I think I've played every other game on the list except for the new remakes coming out and this one.
So that was a fucking lie.
Which, of course, is a good opportunity to actually experience these games, but I have not played 4th gen at all. I've never played a 4th gen game before. My stepbrothers, I've got 2 stepbrothers, and they had Diamond and Pearl and Platinum for their DS, their Nintendo DSs, but of course, because in Pokemon you can only have one save file, they'd never let me play. So I never played Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum. That was unfortunate. I've played some ROMs that are set in 4th gen, but I've never played these 3, unfortunately. And of course, everyone remembers the Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Sprout Brothers commercial. It'd come on all the time on Disney Channel, where Dylan and Cole Sprout would be walking on the beach and they'd be talking about how the Pokemon will follow behind you and how you can have this little extra toy that did something I can't remember. It was like a handheld device that would give you some kind of additive benefit or something like that. I remember those commercials, but I never actually ended up buying these games. It wasn't until 5th gen that I went back to buying these Pokemon games. So I'll do Black first. I see White there at the bottom. Wow, this game, as a matter of fact, I'll do it for this list because it's pretty clear how my feelings are. I'd probably order it like that. Because Black was another one where it was my first introduction to new Pokemon games. I had been playing a game from 2003 for my entire experience playing Pokemon, with the addition of Emerald, which came out in 2005. But I had been playing old school games my whole life. I was playing these like, let's see, when did Black and White come out? 2011. Yeah, I'd been playing these for like almost 5 years after they came out. I've been playing them for an entire 2 generations of releases. So that was my experience with Pokemon. You know, it was all old school. So for me to jump from 3rd gen to 5th gen, it was like a whole new world. There were a shit ton of legendaries to get. You know, you had the legendary trio, the weather trio. You had Tornadus, Thundurus, and Landorus. You had the Swords of Justice, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion. You had, of course, the Dragons of Truth and Ideals, Reshiram and Zekrom. You had Kyurem, that one guy that nobody cared about, but then became really important. Be careful who you call ugly in high school, because they could turn out to be like the most important person in 5th gen. The music hit different. It was the best Pokemon music I've ever heard in my life. Go to Driftvale and tell me this isn't the best music. You will be lying. So anyway, yeah, it was a really fun experience. I had a great time. I loved the game. I loved that game so much, I think I completed it in 72 hours. I think that was the first time I had completed a Pokemon game that quick. I did nothing for like the couple of days that I had played it for the first time. I did nothing but just sit there and play it. And I remember I used that system. I can't remember what it's called, but there was a system. There was an online kind of system before where you could like order Pokemon. Like you could pull up people's data online, and you could be like, oh, I want a Mewtwo, and you could pick from a list of like a bunch of different Mewtwo's, and you could take that Mewtwo and download it into your game. I used that system all the time. I literally used that system to collect hundreds of legendaries. My box right now, I haven't played 5th gen in years, and my box in Pokemon Black is just loaded with Mewtwo's. I know, please roast me. I'm a casual, I understand. It's just loaded with Mewtwo's. So yeah, that was really fun. I enjoyed the story for the game. It was interesting with N and Team Plasma and all the different things. So he's like, oh, I want a free Pokemon, and then Gygus or whatever, the actual BBEG, he turned out to be like, oh no, I just want to use Pokemon to be dumb or something. That was a fun thing, and you could like do the post game where you go around and try to find the 7 sages after they had run away and escape. You got to catch a bunch of legendaries. I love legendaries. Then the other 3 legendaries came out. You had Genesect, Keldeo, and Meloetta, and I had just spent so many days, weeks, months, maybe not years, but definitely days, weeks, and months trying to find out a way to get these Pokemon, because I didn't realize they were event legendaries. But I used that system. I'd found later the system where you can download them, and I got a bunch of Genesects, a bunch of Keldeos, a bunch of Meloettas. I got Victini, because I did not pre-order the game. I tried to pre-order it, but unfortunately that didn't work. I was unable to at the time. But I remember seeing the commercials, pre-order Pokemon Black and White and get the first Fire Psychic Pokemon, this legendary Pokemon of Victory, and they even had a movie about him where he was like an integral part between the clash of Zekrom and Reshiram. He's really cool. I love him to this day. He's one of my favorite Pokemon, Victini. And yeah, I may have missed out on like the Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, and Arceus hype, but I definitely did not miss out on 5th gen. That being said, I did not play White, but if I were to rank it, it would very likely end up in Youngster Joey tier. And I did not play Black and White 2, but I heard it was basically the exact same situation as Pokemon Emerald, where it was like everything you love about Pokemon Black and White, but more stuff. Like you can now fuse Reshiram and Zekrom to Kyurem to make like half of the dragon, like the original dragon or whatever, the big, ultra dragon that they're all supposed to be aspects of. You can now get 2/3 of that dragon. They're extremely powerful Pokemon. There was additional content. It looked very fun. And while I never did play it, I wouldn't be opposed to playing it sometime in the future just to go back and see what I missed. So yeah, I'd probably also rank them Youngster Joey tier. And I'd very most likely rank them between Fire Red and Pokemon Black. or Pokemon Black and White, because that's where White would most likely end up. But I have not played it, so I cannot say for absolute certainty. X and Y. Did not play X. My sister played X. She said it was good, so I can only say that much. I'm going to put Y there. It was a fun game, and I enjoyed it, but I felt like it was lacking in Pokemon. They made a new generation, and I felt like there wasn't a whole lot to it. It was my first 3D game, so that was awesome. That was extremely cool, but I don't feel like the fact that it was 3D was enough to really put it over the edge. It had the Pokemon that it did have were cool, and they were pretty memorable, and everybody remembers, Old King AZ, and his Floette, and that whole thing, and Lysander is a very memorable villain to me. Team Flare I thought was a garbage team, but the leader was cool. I can't remember any of the admins, that's how you know it's garbage. Team Shelly and Courtney for life, and that's something that I like to do. I like to gauge my reaction. Like, I like to rate them based off of how much I remember of the game. I can remember a lot of stuff about these. I can remember a few details about these two in particular, because this would be up there with these if I had not got that crashed save file. And this is about, like, it was good. I liked the legendaries. The legendaries were really cool. Like Zygarde, Xerneas. It took me a while to get a Xerneas. Of course, Yveltal and his Oblivion Wing, that was really cool, and it was super powerful. The Elite Four members were okay, and I do have to say that in my older age, this is probably the game I played the second most. I have a lot of hours on Pokemon Black, that's true, but I probably played the most Sapphire or Emerald, most likely Sapphire, because it was the only Pokemon game I had for the longest time. But this one, I got it day one, and I just played it over and over and over all the time, waiting for the next generation to release. So I've probably racked up hundreds of hours playing Pokemon Y, just using all the different legendaries I transferred from 5th gen to 6th gen, and, fighting the Elite Four, like the Fire Chick, the Water Dude, the Iron Dude, I think it was a Dragon Lady, if I remember correctly, or it was either a Dragon Lady or a Ghost Lady, I can't remember. And then I'd go to fight the chick with the Gardevoir. That was the system. I don't remember their names because I didn't really pay attention to any of the dialogue. I just kind of zoomed through it after I had done it thousands of times. But that's where I'm at. I think the Iron Dude was named Wilkes, and I always hated his clef key. That shit was annoying as hell. But you look at 3rd gen. You got Sydney, Phoebe, Glacia, Drake, and of course the champion either ends up being Steve or Wallace. So yeah, it's easy to remember there, and I kind of have trouble with 1st gen, and let's see, with 5th gen it was, I can't remember their names, but it was like Grimsley, and it was the fighting type dude with the really strong Conkeldurr, then it was the chick that really liked to read books, and she was ghost type. And then you had Caitlyn, I think. She was the psychic type. And, of course, Alder, one of the coolest-looking Elite Four champions, in my opinion. It's one of the coolest-looking ones. And he always gave off an air of, like, if I challenge this guy, I'm in danger. It kind of reminds me of the Simpsons meme. So, I guess what I'm trying to get at here is that I did enjoy my time playing Pokemon Y, but it just didn't really... It wasn't built different like 3rd gen. It was just kind of like, it was really good. It was a legendary game, I'm tempted to put it in great, but some of those Pokemon designs, they were pretty awesome. I did, in fact, like all the legendaries, so I think it deserves legendary, but it's teetering. Alright, and next up, we've got 6th gen, 3rd gen remakes. God. Is anyone surprised? It is literally, it's like, I played, actually, did I play Alpha Sapphire? No, I don't think I played Alpha Sapphire. I think because, I think I reasoned to myself, it kind of became a pattern between me and my sister, right? My sister did not get a 5th gen game, but she did get a 6th gen game. She got X. So she got X, she got like the blue version. There are a lot of these, it's blue and red are the differing ones. So she got the blue one, so I got the red one. Then the remakes came out, I got the red one, and she got the blue one again. She got Alpha Sapphire, and I think we switched it up for, yeah, we switched it up for 7th gen. I got the blue one, she got the red one, and then she didn't get the remakes, but I did, and I think I got Ultra Sun because I had Moon before, so just to kind of change things up. We'll get to that later, though. We kind of alternated. And what were my thoughts of Omega Ruby? It was phenomenal. It was one of the greatest games I've ever played. I probably wouldn't put it over these sheerly for nostalgia factor, but if I did this, I would not be at all entirely surprised, because it was literally like Emerald, but better, but so much better. Mega evolutions, you had primal forms, you had new story elements, you had more Pokemon, you had updated graphics. It was in 3D now. It was great 3D. It was very, very good graphics. The color scheme was refurbished. The animations were better. Everything was just up, up, up. All green lights across the board. It was so good, phenomenal, and I take it back. I played Y a lot, but I think I played Omega Ruby way more than I did Y. I spent so much time trying to catch all the legendaries, playing the game over and over and over. God, all those memories, man. It was really great, and I definitely enjoyed that they made these 6th gen, 3rd gen remakes. Oh my god. I hope that, I have high expectations for Diamond and Pearl remakes, because man, if they're anything like the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire remakes, they are going to be phenomenal, and I will be extremely happy that they will be my first experience with 4th gen, Small Dawn aside. But I think I've said all I need to say about that. It's just phenomenal. Green lights everywhere. So let's get to Sun and Moon. Like I said, I did not play Sun. I did Ultra Sun, but I did play Moon. I gotta say, okay, if we're doing the order, I'll do it like this, and I'll do like that. Nostalgia factor is great and all, but this one is the OG. So the reason why I put Moon above Y is because I kind of got a similar vibe. It was almost like they put more into it, but it didn't pop as much. Right? Like there was like, you had like Aqua Arachnid or whatever in Golispod. Your boy Guzma carries the whole game. Your boy Guzma. It's your boy Guzma. How can you not? I just don't understand the logic. Guzma is like the Speedwagon of Pokemon. There you go. That's the key. That's the key to it. On my honor as a man, I won't let you touch a hair on this gentleman. I can't remember the meme, but he's the Speedwagon of Pokemon. So it's your boy Guzma. He's in Moon. He carries it. But what makes it specially go here is the legendaries. I'd say that the legendaries are phenomenal. You have the introduction of Ultra Beast, and that's just a whole new series of legendaries. You have Nihilego, God, I can't remember, Pheromosa, Buzzswole. My boy got the gains. That is a man who is built different. That man has the muscle drip, alright? That is all of a biscuit if that man was a mosquito from Mosquito Wars. Yeah, you just had so many. You had Xurkitree, Kartana, Celestina, Guzzlord. You just had so many great new, interesting Pokemon. You had, I think Poipole were Ultra Sun and Moon, so we'll get to that. But you had Necrozma. You had, Cosmog, which turns into Cosmoem, which turns into either Solgaleo or Lunala. It was a very exciting game. It had a pretty decent storyline. I liked a lot of the characters, like Kukui, Lucamina. And of course, you had Silvally. I can't believe I forgot about him. Type Null to Silvally. And of course, your boy Guzma. Cannot forget him. And you had Z-moves, which were really cool. I remember I pre-ordered that game and I got the Snorlax. So that was awesome. Having that Snorlax for the first beginning of the game really gave me an edge. I just had a great time playing the game. I'm wondering if I should put it in Youngster Joey tier, but it just didn't. It didn't have a lot of content. I feel like that's wrong to say, because I will put, full disclosure, I will be putting Ultra Sun and Moon in Youngster Joey tier, because I felt like there wasn't a lot to do in the post game. Like I got 100% Zygarde pretty quick. I got 10% Zygarde within a reasonable amount of time. 50% Zygarde took a while, but I got to 100% Zygarde pretty quick. And I used a guide, full disclosure. But I just wasn't having fun looking for the little cells, whatever. I digress. It's not that big of a deal. I just felt like there was a little bit of a lack of post-game content for Sun and Moon. But I had a good time. I thought the rivals were great. I really liked how he was fun, energetic, and a total moron. He was like Hop but better. Okay? Hop from the new games, all I can extend that man, all I can afford that man is pity. Because he's like, I'm gonna kick your ass. He's like, well, I guess I lost. I feel so bad for him. We literally crushed that man's dreams. We beat him so badly. He was like, instead of trying to become champion, because there's literally no hope of that happening, instead of trying to become champion, I'll just become a Pokemon researcher. I felt so bad. I was like, Hop, you caught a legendary. You did that. Good on you. Sometimes I wish I could lose just to take pity on this man. But we're not talking about that yet. We'll get to that. Sun and Moon. Mewtwo tier. Ultra Sun and Moon, like I said, did not play Ultra Moon, but I did play Ultra Sun. Like I said, Youngster Joey tier. It took care of all the problems that Sun and Moon had in their lack of post-game content. You had the Ultra Beast thing, but you also had like the Looker quests. I just had more fun playing it. You had the fusion of Necrozma and Solgaleo or Lunala, so you could get the Dusk main or the Dawn main. And of course, you could do the legendary search like you always do for 6th gen and onward. I had fun playing Ultra Sun and Moon, and I played it quite extensively until the next generation rolled around. I didn't play these games. I didn't play Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. I thought they looked cool. I went back and I watched some people play it, and I realized that your rival is different from Blue. I've not watched a lot of gameplay, but from what I saw, it looked pretty dang cool for a Switch game. And, I've got mixed feelings. I can't talk about it too much, but I guess if I were to place it on here somewhere, it'd probably be in Youngster Joey tier, but, maybe Mudkip tier, actually. Maybe that's way too high. Like I said, I don't have a concrete enough grasp of either game to place it anywhere, but, it looked fun. It was some classic first-gen fun on the Switch, which was like a big new thing, so that was cool. These ones are controversial. Controversial indeed. Okay, first off, I did not play Sword. Okay, go ahead. Tell me about how I'm not a Giga Chad, how I'm just a beta male cuck. Tell me, please. Tell me about how my wife's boyfriend bought me a Switch, and I'm so happy about it. It's fine. It's fine. Shields are better than swords anyway, because I want to live. I'm not too keen on killing people. I'm going to have to put that in Mudkip tier. Armor of Isle? Isles of Armor. That was a really fun DLC. I liked Kung Fu. I liked the storyline. I liked meeting Avery, I think his name was. He was like a pouty JoJo character. It was hilarious. He's like Sasuke from JoJo. So that was fun, but I feel like a lot of what they did could have been in like a post game kind of thing. I like about the DLC. I like that they did not make you buy a brand new game. They didn't do Emerald. They didn't do Ultra Sun and Moon. They didn't do Black and White 2. They didn't make you buy Pokemon Gun, right? That was the meme. It was like everybody prepare for Pokemon Gun. I like that they didn't make you buy a new game, but I still have my reservations about DLCs and microtransactions in games. I feel like that's something that's become too commonplace in the gaming industry, and we should try to wean companies away from that, not fill their pockets with money, which would incentivize them to do it more. That being said, I filled their pockets with money, and I incentivized them to do it more, and when I bought the DLC, I really enjoyed it. Actually, now that I remember it, I lied. My sister got Sword, I got the red one, she got the blue one. I'll put it here, because it was basically the exact same. I played Sword so that I wouldn't have to trade any of my good Pokemon. I could just get Zacian and trade it to my Shield game, so I'd have Zacian and Zamazenta. So, Isles of Armor was good. I loved Kung Fu. I love Urshifu. I have both styles. I have Flowing Water and Dark Punchy Punch. And they're great. I love them. Don't like the DLC, though. Crown Tundra. That was awesome. That was like a wet dream for me, right? It's a legendary-centric DLC. That was amazing. You could get a bunch of legendaries that I wasn't able to transfer over. There were some restrictions on transferring over legendaries, but I was able to get new, better legendaries. I was able to get a bunch of new legendaries exclusive to this DLC, like Calyrex and his Spectrier and Gastrier, and I do have both of those. I do have two Calyrexes, a Gastrier and a Spectrier. So that was cool, getting Reggie Draco and Reggie Electric, or whatever his name is. That was all fun for me. I really enjoyed it. And the new Galarian bird trio, that was amazing. I loved all of that. I loved tracking them down, solving the puzzles, and doing it. Sucks that it was DLC, though. And the main reason why it sucks, not so much that it's DLC. I have my gripes with that, but I can live with it. My problem with Sword and Shield is that there's nothing in the game. The game is so empty. There are new Pokemon. That's fun. The wild zones are extremely cool. You know, the wild areas where you can see Pokemon running around and you can interact with them in the overworld. That is revolutionary for Pokemon. It never made sense to me how a Snorlax could just sit in a small tuft of grass that's like ankle high to me, but the dude is like, 6'6", 441 pounds. So I found that was very interesting, but you play the game, you get Eternatus, you get Zacian or Zamazenta, and that's it. That's it. There's a couple of, like, you can go back to the tower, you can go back to Rose Tower, and you can do the spiel there, but that gets old pretty quick. You can keep doing the challenge at the end, but the longevity that I've had with all these other games is because I'd go back with my legendaries and I'd try to beat the Elite Four. There was no Elite Four in this game. It was just a bunch of losers and then the champion. And the champion put up a decent fight, but I'd sweep everybody's team with my legendaries. They were not nearly as much a challenge as a traditional Elite Four would be. The trials for Pokemon Sun and Moon, they were fine because there was still gym leader battles. They had trials, and then they'd have gym leader battles. But with this, there's no Elite Four substitute. It's just a bunch of normal trainers that you've literally been spending the entire game beating. It's nothing new. You go through and you beat all the gym leaders because you're way beyond gym leader level now. You'd have to fight Hop and Marnie and Bedhead. Yes, his name is Bedhead. Don't at me. And they just would not be a challenge. You get to Leon and it's like, oh man, finally a challenge. And then he'd be dead and you'd be like, well, shit. Okay, what am I doing now? All my Pokemon are level 100 because I use all the XP candies. So you just kind of go back to the wild area and you're like, okay. I think I completed that game without catching less than 100 Pokemon. I think I spent like a couple hours on the game. I beat it in like 10 hours. And I caught like 5 Pokemon because I sweeped the whole game with Inteleon. Inteleon is literally the strongest starter in the game. Please do not at me. He's a glass cannon. He's so fast and Snipe Shot hits so hard. Nobody ever beat me. I just sweep through everyone. So it really comes down to, well, except for Marnie, because one of her Pokemon, I can't remember, I think it was her Toxicroak. Her Toxicroak had dry skin, so I couldn't use water-type moves, and that sucked because his other move that I used for offense was Liquidification, so it was like, okay, I guess I gotta swap to Jerry I don't know, the Magikarp. Here he is down here, bad tier. So, it sucked. It really does suck that the game was so empty and that they held off all the best stuff for DLC, but I put it in Mudkip tier because, considering the DLC, the game was fun. It had great Pokemon, a bunch of brand new cool legendaries. The storyline was pretty intriguing, and you had that plot twist at the end where, Rose turns out to be not so reputable. I didn't like the fact that they didn't really have a concrete bad guy team. They kind of had a similar issue in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, where it was like, oh, Guzma and his ragtag group, they're the bad guys. I was like, well, no, Lusamine and her group of evil scientists are also pretty bad. Well, I guess they're both the bad guy team, So that was a little weird to me, but this one was just so disconjointed. It was like, oh, it's the team of rapscallions that keep following Marnie around. And it's like, well, they didn't actually do anything. You fought them a couple times, but they were like, oh, whatever. And then you go to like the end of the game. It's like, oh, Rose and his goons are the bad ones. It's like, well, you fight them like for like 10 minutes, and then that's it. No real bad guy team. like traditional Pokemon. And things don't have to be traditional, but it was a little bit weird because it only further contributed to the empty feeling of the game. But the Pokemon were fun, the wild areas were fun, the legendaries were cool, so I think it deserves, at least higher than middle of the road. I feel bad for Silver because it really wasn't that bad of a game, but it was like, Silver was a good Pokemon game. But these are all really good Pokemon games. Like these ones, I'm hard pressed to put them in a certain position. Oh, and believe me, I know I'm gonna get my ass torn apart for putting Sword and Shield above Silver, but such is life. C'est la vie. Now, of course, I can't say that I've had the distinguished honor of being able to play games that aren't even out yet, but I have extremely high hopes for these two. I really want them to be good so that I can hop aboard the 4th gen hype train. People have been talking about these remakes for years, and I think it's high time that we got, a 4th gen remake game, and I'll finally be able to experience 4th gen, just, the Smol version. Smol Dawn, Smol Pokemon, Smol everything. And of course, this looks phenomenal. An open world Pokemon game. It's been the talk of the town for everybody for years. It looks amazing. I can't wait to see what they do with it. That being said, there are still some things they've got to work on, and I'm glad they're giving it like 2 years before they release it, like this year and then next year. I'm glad that they're taking their time to polish and perfect Pokemon Legends Arceus. And finally, for these two, have not played. And did I play Red? No, I don't think I played Red. I know I played Fire Red. I don't think I played the OG games. I could have sworn, maybe I'm just thinking about the time I played Silver, but I don't think I've played those two. But they kind of fall in the same category as the other originals, like Green and Blue. You know, they're phenomenal games, and they have some great character designs and stuff. But, you know, it's like the origin, you know? It's you got to start somewhere, and then you improve from that point, you know? It's like the opposite of JoJo, where, like, Jonathan Joestar is the best JoJo, and if you think that's not true, then you're wrong and dumb and your opinion doesn't matter. But more importantly, they kind of just kept the bar, you know? I think the weakest JoJo was probably Giorno in terms of character. And I looked on Reddit the other day, and it would seem a lot of people agree. I saw a meme. It was pretty funny. It got a lot of upvotes, so apparently everyone agrees. But it was like, it was the meme where he's like, I don't have any strong opinions. And there's some dude who's like, Jonathan Joestar is the worst Joestar. And then he's just, smiling and calmly, like, cocking a gun. That's me. It's like, I don't really feel any way about anything. And then somebody bashes Jonathan. I'm like, you take that back. So, I like Jonathan. I like Origins. But, I don't know. I don't know if these guys would get above Quilladin. I don't know if I'm really vibing with 1st gen enough to stack them up to the great, mighty, and powerful Sword and Shield. How great Zacian and Zamazenta were, and Eternatus, of course. Such memorable Pokemon, because, like, they're, yeah, I'll remember these guys for ages, he says, lying through his teeth. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the list. We'd had nobody in the bad tier. I think I've enjoyed, at least to a modicum of degree, I think I've enjoyed every single Pokemon game. So nothing got bad, nothing got dick. So everything was either godly. These are my favorite games of all time. Youngster Joey, these were phenomenal games that I have hundreds of hours playing. Legendary, which are pretty good games. It sucks that it's 6th and 7th gen, right back to back. But they were pretty good games. Definitely nothing to scoff at. That had some great story, great Pokemon, great everything. Sword and Shield could use some improvement, but still some pretty great games. Silver, I don't really feel one way about it one way or another. It was fun to play an older game, but it's not something I'd spend a lot of time playing. It just doesn't have the same, pizzazz newer games do. And it's the massive list of Pokemon games that I have not played, because, folks, when it really comes down to it, I don't have the money, time, or willpower to play every single Pokemon game that's ever come out. So that's the list. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like on the video. If you guys want me to make a tier list about something, or maybe talk more about Pokemon content, let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel if you want more of this type of content, more Pokemon stuff, or maybe you want to stick around for things like anime. I cover Baki. I'm looking to cover things more like Kengan, JoJo, Bleach. I've got a ton of anime that I want to discuss on the channel, so stick around if that's something you're interested in. Oh, and go ahead and hit the notification bell if you want to be updated as to when those videos release. So like I said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Untitled.